Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm with Justin Papan, who has 140 Teslas and like 200 cars. But we're going to talk about the new Power Host and All-Star Host criteria, which is like, it's crazy. If you haven't heard about it, everybody's going insane about it. I mean, it's
something so crazy that it's going to be the thing that starts another startup in the ride-sharing business that actually ends up taking over because they're going to piss off so many people.
Oh,
that's
for
how
sure.
Poorly thought out it was. Whoever they have on that team making actual business decisions.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean,
it's
like All-Star Host before you had to make, or Power Host, which is higher than that, it was like $36,000 a year, 90% five-star hosts, or 90% five-star trips, 90% acceptance rate. I mean, it wasn't super hard to get to, but it's still, you had to put in some work. But now...
And that doesn't even count if you have EVs. EVs are an uphill battle of their own.
Oh, it's difficult.
Yeah,
people don't know how to use them.
We've had people go to gas stations asking where to put the gas in. We had a lady come in here yesterday, and she's like, is this electric? And she's like, when did Tesla start making electric cars? And I'm like, it was just super recent. Like, because you can't tell them never, because then they think you're an asshole, right? So, yeah, I think what they're doing on a business side is they're making it really hard to be a power host because they're going to have to let go of all their power host reps. And instead of being like, hey, you guys actually don't do a good job, they're going to say, hey, we have new requirements. We actually have less threshold and needs from the power host support team. So we're just going to have a layoff. But we're going to let go of all the people.
But there's nobody that's going to make it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen a single person. I mean, I've looked at a lot of people's accounts. The biggest people, like Alvin Cleanliness, Florida, Aubrey Janik. There's literally the biggest host in the world. I'm sure Eric or LA Autospot.
I don't know of a single person.
All getting kicked off Power Host. So there's probably going to be like 5.
Well, it makes it a lot easier to just let go of the people who run the Power Host.
Oh yeah, there's going to be nobody running the Power Host because there's going to be so little people. So let's talk about the criteria. First thing is 5-star rating trips. So that means 85% of people have to rate it 5 stars.
On all trips.
If you don't know what that means, like so many people just don't leave reviews, which in this case counts as a negative. Like for us, we have like 20% that don't rate trips at all, which means
26%.
Oh, let's see. Like immediately, we're just in that one criteria, we're immediately off Power Host, like 100%, and that's the one thing that's kicking everybody off. You have 24% of people that haven't rated trips, which means we're automatically kicked off the program. If we're at 20% not rated, that means we'd have to have 100%. No, that's not even possible.
You'd have to be at like a 10% non-review rate and like a 98% 5-star rating.
Even the people that have 99% 5 stars, that have like practically a perfect rating, still don't get this because they have more than the 15% or 10% that don't rate their trips.
It makes sense. It's like when you don't have any competition in a space, you do a lot of stupid things because you don't care. On the back, you don't have to actually think through your decisions because there's no competition that will do it better.
Yeah.
Right. And they'll continue to keep on doing this. And at some point, whether obviously Uber's not going to be that person right now, right? But at some point, it's going to bite them in the ass, right? And it just is what it is. And it might not be today, it might be 5 years from now, right? But like you can't make decisions that have no longevity behind them. Because my guess is this will be changed within a year.
Well, probably. I mean, there's going to be so much. There's going to be so many people complaining. I mean, people are already complaining about it like crazy in all the chats on all the Facebook groups.
But they did one good thing with the EV recharge.
They did. They changed the criteria and how much you get paid for EV stuff.
In a long, long time.
Yeah, that's big. So essentially, just that one thing is going to kick off almost every single host. The next one is maintenance rating, which makes sense. I mean, at least 80% above 5-star maintenance rating. Which also, if they don't review it, that bites in the ass.
Zero. Yeah, I also think that that is basically just going to push off all the cash car people because I think cash cars they started it last year a little bit. They're going to keep on pushing. Like they might have a requirement that the car has to be within 10 years, but any of those cars that those I would call it cars that probably shouldn't be on tour to begin with that need to be removed that aren't rental ready shape. They're going to start really pushing those off because it does a net positive for the platform in that regards because then you have nicer cars, you have a nicer baseline. The people running the nicer cars probably, you could argue, have a more thought out process versus people who are buying $5,000-$6,000 cars and just seeing what happens next. Yeah. So that's probably a net positive because you don't want people stranded on the road.
Yeah. Cleanliness rating, 80% 5-star cleanliness. That's easy. Cancellation rate. This one's fairly easy, 3% or lower for all trips, but I think that's just host driven. So if you have any issue,
97%.
So if you have 97, that's pretty high.
We're 99.
You're 99. We're not. I mean, we've had to have some. We've had to do some cancellations. We're at 96.
We don't really cancel trips though. Like if we do, it's always rotating another car. It's very rare.
We don't have enough cars to do that.
We will only cancel someone holistically and not even help them if, one, we have no other option, and even then we'll help them find a different car somewhere else, or two, if they're being like absurd.
Yeah.
If they're like, me and my Pomeranian need to be picked up at the airport pronto.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Canceled.
So that one's easy to get, and then we don't have it, but we'll be there in no time. And that's based on a time frame. It's not based on like your whole longevity. It's based on like a 3 month period.
And this is all based on this quarter actively. So remember, all of your stats reset. So it's only based on this quarter's metrics.
Yeah. And then completed trips 20. That's easy. So completed trips is easy. Cancellation's easy. Cleanliness is easy. Maintenance is pretty easy as long as you have newer cars. But the 5-star rating is going to be
My guess is they're going to come back
difficult.
and do the 85% across like how it used to be.
Well, because that's what we thought it was.
Oh, we had a mistake. Because like that's the best way to fix this at this point is just to act like it was a communication error versus like how Turo normally does is like, oh no, we're going to keep on pushing. We have horrible feedback. We're just going to do what we know to do best, right? Versus they could say, we've made a mistake. We communicated incorrectly. I think it was just a misunderstanding. You could play that card and you fix the whole problem.
Yeah.
Just fucking, you don't even have to say you're wrong.
But what he's saying is like instead of being 85% of 5-star is like
85% of rated trips.
Of rated trips.
Yep.
Which would be, I mean, well, that'd be pretty easy.
Which isn't, but the biggest hosts are in that range.
Yeah, the biggest hosts
The
are
thing that will
probably
kick most
in that
people
range.
off is the maintenance. There's some people who have some raunchy maintenance ratings. People who have, like, we don't experience that at all because it's all electric cars. But I've seen some pretty nasty, 4.1s across the board on there, 3.9s.
And I'm assuming they're doing it because they're looking at their P&L and they're seeing like, okay, where are we losing money? And somewhere in the powerhouse statistics or within that realm, like they're losing money somewhere
They're not
in there.
looking at that.
They have to be.
No.
Why else would they do it? There's
You're
no other reason
overthinking
to do it.
You're overthinking it. They aren't thinking. That's why they're making this. They have somebody in a think box who's like, what's the best way we can do to make this they honestly probably didn't even perceive the difference in between all trips versus rated trips. And they just were like, we think that makes more sense. Because the argument on their Facebook profile was that 1-star or people who don't rate are least likely to rebook on Turo. Well, maybe, yeah, you could that's like self-picking your stats. You could also say people who rate 5 stars are most likely to rebook on Turo.
Yeah.
Of course, the people who didn't rate.
So then they're counting those zeros as a 1-star.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you have no assumption. Like that person could also be an older person who doesn't want to work their phone and they didn't enjoy the virtual drop-off.
Yeah.
Right? There's a million reasons why someone doesn't rate their trip. And
or people forgot to do it.
And it might not be host-related. How about we have them rate Turo? And we have a live feed on Turo.
That's
and then you guys post your guys' ratings of how the host feel about your reps. And see. And then if you don't have an 85% happy reps,
they get fired.
Sorry, you're fired.
That'd be fair.
That'd be fair.
I mean, we rate them anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see that.
No, we never see that. I rate people 5 stars, but there's people that just feel like a 1-star for sure. Yeah. Because they don't help. They
should hold themselves to an 85% standard.
100%. Huh.
They should do that. Even the CEO. It should be every interaction he should start rating himself. Have a little button here. Is this a good experience? I can't have any unrated trips. It's ridiculous.
So that's our challenge to you, Turo.
Rate yourself.
Rate yourself. Post your rating, and then if anybody's below 85%,
can them.
they're fired.
Just get rid of them.
That's it. All right. We'll see you in the next video.